Right, we're hoping to get you insight around what's actually taking place within the ANC. The party itself says it's directed officials to take urgent steps and address the plight of its workers whose salaries are yet to be paid. And this has been ongoing for months now. The party's National Executive Committee meeting on Friday to deliberate on various issues pertaining to the running of that organization. According to reports, the party has actually only managed to back pay employees up until September, and some workers have been left without salaries for October, November, and for this month. It was at the end of last month that the ANC's General Manager, Febe, Potgieter, issued a letter to staff members informing them that there was a delay in payment. In that letter, she guaranteed staff that they'd be paid on the 15th of December. That's earlier this week. However, reports suggesting that the party hasn't actually made good on that promise. As soon as we're able to get you some kind of insight around what's actually taken place, we're hoping to bring you some of that explanation, especially in a context where we know that many South Africans are dealing with tough economic times. In fact, let's bring in the ANC's Staff Committee Chair, Mvusi Mdala, who's in Johannesburg for us. He joins us via our video link. And sir, thanks very much indeed for making time to speak to us. Welcome to the program. Perhaps let me begin by just ascertaining from you what communication has been forthcoming from the ANC around why payments haven't been made for 3 months now.
Good morning to you and the Newzroom Afrika viewers. We have not received any further communication except the one that you have indicated on the 15th of December. That was indicating that we are going to be paid by then. And then I think we're just worried about that gross misrepresentation on that one.
What do you mean by that? Mvusi, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm still with you.
Sure. I was just asking you to just elaborate on what you meant by the fact that you're worried about gross misrepresentations around that communication on the 15th of December.
You know what? Why you are worried about that? Because that stated very clearly that on the 15th you are going to get all outstanding salaries. That is your October, November, December. And then that date came and nothing. Yeah. There was nothing. There was not even a communication to explain why that promise that has been made, that commitment that has been made, is not being fulfilled. I think we're treated with a lack of decency in that regard. And then, that's why we are worried about it.
Yeah. So as a matter of fact, I just want to ascertain something from you. The last time ANC members were paid in their entirety was back in September, and as you and I speak today, even the December salaries, it appears, won't be paid.
Yes, we were last paid in September, and then until today, October, November, and December, there's nothing, and then we are not even sure. There's nothing that says to us, even we read the NEC statement of the Friday, that the matter has been referred to the officials to urgently deal with it. And then we don't understand what's the meaning of that, because the officials have been seized with this matter since July till to date, and they don't think that they've got capacity to deal with the matter. We thought that the NEC would be better placed to discuss and resolve the matter, rather than referring the matter to the officials that have completely failed.
Yeah. What many people might be struggling to reconcile, sir, is the fact that, the ANC has obviously received some kind of money, and that's why it was able to run an election campaign, even though some people contend it was a shadow of the other campaigns that the ANC has run. I mean, what kind of explanations are you receiving around why it appears there's money for certain things within the organization, but no money to at least pay its staff?
There is no explanation that is satisfactory that you received, except the issue of party funding. Except that the Party Funding Act, there's nothing. But in our view, we believe that we are not being prioritized by the employer because they don't care about the employer. I think that veil of caring and then is not there. We are being treated in a way of immoral, inhumane. And then I think if we've got leadership that is like those value of humaneness, selflessness, and caring, we will find the situation of workers being treated the way that we are.
The obvious question becomes what happens next. I mean, 3 months of non-payment is unthinkable in a country like ours, where so many people are already struggling even whilst getting all their pay. How are you even making ends meet during this time?
This question of not being paid, I think the paying is unforgettable. And then it's very difficult to explain, to talk about it on a daily basis. We find ourselves in a very difficult situation in a country whereby even economically you're not doing well, and then unemployment is rising, and then we are adding to that being a burden. I think it's a very worrying situation. And then, let alone how it has disorganized our workers in terms of us. We have not been able to plan anything for December. And then to enjoy, December is a month that people are reuniting with their families or going to holidays. I think for us, that is impossible. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I can hear that despondency even in your voice as you and I are speaking. We're often being told that the ANC is the party of the people. Many people are watching our discussion now. What do you reckon ought to be the message to ordinary people about what the ANC is putting you through?
I think the ANC as a party that is leading society, what is doing now, I think this. But remember, we are from the elections where the voters have spoken, and then the question of trust and trustworthy, it's a big issue, I think, in the electorate. And then also when you continue to the leadership to do this to its workers, I think they are not assisting even the party. The problem that we have in the ANC is the current leadership. I think that's how we view it, that not having capacity to manage the organization properly and deal with issues that affect its members and society at large.
Sure. So what happens next? What now?
What we are going to do, we'll meet next year, because now the offices are officially closed. We'll meet next year as a staff and chart the path forward in terms of what else can we do to enforce the employer to abide by the rules and the laws.
Yeah, really disheartening there, and it appears that our line to you is faulting, but I think the thrust of your messaging has certainly come through loud and clear. Thank you for making time to speak to us. All the very best with what I imagine is an incredibly difficult couple of weeks ahead, especially as you mentioned, around this time of the year where people are hoping to be laid back in some respects, and the reality is sometimes you need the financial muscle to do that. For what it's worth, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. Mvusi Mdala is the ANC's Staff Committee Chairperson. Live to us there from Johannesburg.